It's the final stream. The final. The last one. The last stream ever of 2020. Or the first of 2021, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. All depends on how you kind of look at it, how you view it. How do you view it? I have no idea. I don't know. Could be the last. Could be the first. Could be the last stream or the first stream. It's all about perspective. Perspective. However people view it. However they view it. Who knows? Yo, what up, 370? Hello, Happy New Year. Happy New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, wherever, because the world's split. Some people are in the future, some people are not. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for all the advice on the car, man. Hey, anytime, dude. James, happy New Year's Eve or New Year's Day to everyone, depending on where you are in the world, because I know like Australia's in the future, like Japan, Korea, all these places are in the future, so I think it's already 2021 where they're at. So if you're in the future, Happy New Year's Day. If you are in the past with me, Happy New Year's Eve. Enjoyed the new video. That's what I'm saying. We're so close to getting the motor put back in the car. We're just like, we're right there. We're right there. We just need a clutch and a flywheel, which I ordered like 2 weeks ago, which Rallysport Direct still hasn't shipped yet, which I called them today, and now it's apparently supposed to be like 60 business days until it ships. So I need to figure something out with them. That's, you know, setbacks. Always setbacks, but we'll work through it. Yo, what is going on, the Auto Subi? What's going on, man? Matthew, what's up, dude? Henderson? Happy New Year's, my friend. Any big plans for the night? I don't think so. I think we're just going to kind of kick it and hang out. I actually have no idea what we're doing tonight. I don't know if we're doing anything exciting tonight. We might go over to a friend's house. We might kick it here. No idea yet. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All the way from Puerto Rico. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, my friends. Jeez, everyone's Happy New Year in it right now. What is happening? Happy New Year's Eve. That's what I'm saying. Happy New Year's Eve, you guys. Greetings. What's going on? Ooh, rip. Why are we rip? Oh, I know. I know why. Woo! That's what I'm saying. Rally Motorsports. Rally Motorsports. I have no idea who Rally Motorsports is, but I might have to look. Actually, you know what? I'm curious. Rally Motorsports. Rally Motorsports. What is Rally Motorsports? I totally had like super typos. What is this? What is Rally Motorsports? Oh! Oh, they have a whole bunch of music too. Interesting. Okay, Rally Motorsports. Rally Motorsports. I guess they sell cars. Do all GC8s use the same turbo? For JDM models, I believe they all use like a TD05 setup. I don't think they have anything like crazy big or anything like that. They're not very big turbos on the old GC models, so I'm pretty sure for the most part they're all interchangeable. Whenever it comes to like Australia, I think Australia had like turbo models also, but I know for sure the Japanese ones did. Love the content. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, my friend. Canadian New Year's Eve moment. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Happy New Year's Eve. I ordered parts from Rallysport Direct before their shipping info is inaccurate, said processing when it was already delivered. I hope that that is the case with us. When I ordered the clutch, it was like 8 business days out from shipping, and that was on the 18th. Now it's what, the 31st, and now they're telling me it's like 60 business days. So I mean, hopefully they told me I won't have an answer from ACT until like the 4th when they come back from like holiday or whatever. So hopefully it's not actually going to be 60 business days, because that is going to make for some interesting troubles that we're going to have to overcome. But we'll get it figured out. What's up, man? Do you recommend I get the Perrin pitch stop brace with the install of the Cobb pitch stop mount? The only cars that really need the pitch stop brace are the 2015 to like early model 2017 WRXs. If you're outside of that realm, you don't really need it. It's extra security if you want it. I think it's what, like $200 or something like that. So if you want it, get it. But if you're outside of that realm of like 15 to early model 17 WRXs, it's not really needed. Also, I got the intercooler ordered for the Blobeye last night, so excited for that. The only one that I could find that was in stock was Cobb. So I ended up snagging like a Cobb front mount for the 05 STI, which, dear Lord, that thing was expensive. Hopefully it was worth it. I've never had a Cobb front mount before, so we'll see if the price tag is actually worth it on that one. But one less part to need to get for that car. I still need a header, and then I'm just waiting for everything else to come in still. So hopefully it comes in soon. Get your clutch and flywheel from Defined Performance. I haven't used Rallycross Direct in years because of shipping times and customer service. The customer service wasn't too bad when I called them. I mean, they answered pretty promptly. They gave me a pretty direct answer. On the 4th, I'll actually have an answer from them to see what's going on. If it is subject to 60 business days or whatever, then I'll cancel the order, order it through someone else who has it in stock. I have like the ability to see what some companies have as inventory, and I know Turn 14 Distribution, if there's anyone from Turn 14 here, I know you guys have 62 ACT clutches. Quit hogging them all. Share them with the world. I like when you say ooh on all your videos. That's what I'm saying. It's like the tagline. We gotta do it. How much horsepower can the stock FA20 WRX injectors, rails, and pump take before needing to be replaced? FA20 doesn't really have fuel rails or injectors. You have the direct injection system, but the direct injectors are pretty scalable. The thing that you're going to have to swap out before anything is going to be that low-pressure fuel pump in the fuel tank, which I suggest snagging like an AEM 340 liter per hour or something along those lines. But you don't need to swap. There isn't really any rails or injectors that you need to swap out unless you're adding port injection, so not really a need to. Let's go. Well, let's good. I can use a 1997 downpipe on my 92. Oh, that's what I'm saying. There we go. Can't wait to see what you're doing with the 2015 plus STI. Hopefully we get the motor back in like the next 2 weeks. When I was talking to Outfront not too long ago, they said they were assembling the motor. I think this week they were doing the final assembly on the EG33. So hopefully in the next like 2 weeks we get it back. We get it on the engine stand. We can get the clutch, the flywheel put on that car. We can get it bolted up. We should be good to go. We should be pretty good to go with that EG33 to at least get everything mounted in the car. At least to get it all mounted. A DIY cardboard flywheel. I mean, it might last for like. It won't. It wouldn't. I don't even know what I'm saying. Happy New Year's, bro, from Duty Station EU. Hey, Happy New Year's. What front mount intercooler you recommend for 2010 STI? ETS, if you don't mind waiting the lead times. I know ETS is a little booked out right now, only because I was looking at their intercoolers last night. It said they have some in stock. I know the piping kits are all in stock, but the cores, I think, are what are selling right now. But if you don't mind waiting a little bit, ETS is going to be cheaper. ETS, Cobb. Who if you have like a 15 plus, the Grimspeed one isn't terribly bad if you can snag one of those. But typically speaking, ETS is always going to be your best like bang for the buck whenever it comes to front mounts. Thanks for the pitch stop info. I have a 2015 STI. There we go. You respond to my Insta messages the other day. I had the Dr. Pepper on my wang. Oh yeah. Oh yes. There's so many Instagram messages. I get so lost in those. It's like maybe one here and there whenever I'm like swinging through there. Just they build up so fast. Hello 2021. What's going on? WRX Visiv. If my car has adaptive suspension, would lowering springs be better or would coilovers be better? If your car has adaptive suspension and you start swapping out suspension components, it's not going to be very adaptive anymore, regardless if you do lowering springs or coilovers. So my suggestion is still going to be coilovers. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, my friends. AJ, Happy New Year, chilling with family. We'll have to rewatch this later. Appreciate you, Tanner. Hey, Happy New Year, my friend. Also, Tyler, appreciate the dono, dude. Keep being awesome. Fire emoji, hands up. That's what I'm saying. Appreciate the dono, dude. Appreciate it, man. Figured we'd hop on do like one more stream before the year ended or before the first stream for people in the future of 2021, depending on where you're at. It's all about perspective, but appreciate it, dude. What up, Eagle? What's going on, dude? Quick question. Is it normal for peak boost pressure to lower after Accessport reflash? Mine dropped from 21.9 psi to 14.6 psi, then stayed at 14 unless I had a boost leak somewhere. My first guess would be that you might have a boost leak somewhere, because even after you reflash your ECU with a new tune, yes, the ECU is going to go through like an ECU relearn process, but it shouldn't be capping out what your target boost is unless the target boost in the new tune is lowered or changed from what the prior tune was. So if you swapped over a new OTS tune or something like that and boost caps out at 14.6 psi, then that's totally going to be what your max psi is. Also, geez, appreciate the donos, dude. Alex, what's going on, dude? Appreciate the dono, man. Also, like, the little guy on the rocket ship. I'm totally digging it, dude. Appreciate it, man. Alex, you're absolutely awesome, dude. Plumber WRX, yesterday my 2018 STI limited with 45,000 miles. Always 93, always right oil, always 100% stock, no mods. Engine blew up. Hopefully you get it taken care of, Plumber. Sorry to hear. I believe it was you I was talking about with the Accessport plugged into the car. If you wanted to unplug the Accessport, try to bring it back. My advice to you guys is if anyone has like a basic Accessport plugged into their car, and that's all that's done to the car and you have an OTS tune, be upfront and honest with your dealer whenever it comes to any of that stuff. Because if you're upfront and you're honest with them, they may warranty your block if it just comes down to it. Because I know with Matt, Matt's my roommate. He's a service advisor at the Puyallup Subaru dealership here. And sometimes, and I've heard of other dealerships doing this also, that if you're upfront and you're honest with the dealer, that they will sometimes work with you because you're being straightforward with them. When they go into your ECM, they can definitely see whenever things are like misshifted. Maybe you tune the car, maybe the CID numbers change. So just be upfront and honest with them. And geez, Alex, appreciate the other $49.99, man. You guys are absolutely killing it with the donuts tonight, dude. Always appreciate the support. Alex, I also sent your package out yesterday. So you should be getting that. I did it 2-day air, so you should be getting that. What is today? Thursday. Tomorrow's a holiday. Probably by Saturday if USPS delivers Sunday. So it should be there hopefully by this weekend. But always appreciate the support, man. I bet it's going to change 11:60 instead of 12 o'clock since 2020 has been so strange. I could see it. We just keep going deeper and deeper into 20. Well, some people are already in 2021. What if half of the world got stuck in 2020 and the other half like advanced to 2021? Nope, that's like some weird stuff. Nope, don't even want to go there. That's like thinking about like how big the universe is, and not even gonna get into that. The blob eye is about to come to life. Ah, good stuff. That's what I'm saying. We just need the clutch and the flywheel to come in. Once that stuff like actually ships from ACT, we can actually get it back in the car and keep going with it. I'm stoked for it. Yours got dropped off at UPS today, and a second one coming on Saturday. Ooh, appreciate it, Alex. I'm looking forward to the goodies coming in. Hopefully shipping times don't get totally screwed by the holiday coming up. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's a federal holiday. Not entirely sure on that one, but goodies should be getting down to you soon. Always appreciate it, dude. I'm super excited for those packages to come in. We'll do like a full, like, you already know the spiel. We'll go over everything once everything comes in. Super stoked for it. Tyler, yo, Happy New Year's, bud. That's what I'm saying to you guys. Happy New Year's, my friends. Totally Happy New Year's. I'm so stoked for what 2021 is gonna, like, bring up. It was funny. At the beginning of 2020, I made a video, like, covering channel goals, and I'll probably do that again this year because I like to look back on it. But some of the goals that I had set for, like, the channel in 2020, when we were at, like, 2,000 subscribers, was like a goal of 10,000 subs, get the 2017 STI to 400 wheel horsepower, continue with the mini oil series, do a lot more discussion, debate, install topic videos like that. We hit every single goal that I had set for the channel in early 2020. If you guys want to check that video out, it was like super old video. Don't judge like the quality of it. It was a little out there before I figured out like how to like speak in front of a camera a little bit better and how to edit a little bit better. But it's kind of cool to know that we went through and we hit every single channel goal that I had set. We went way past every single goal too, so I'm super pumped for that. So I'll probably do another one here soon for 2021. So I'm excited for what 2021 will bring. Plumber WX, stock tune, no Accessport. I'm the second owner, always dealership oil changes. I'm still scared they will deny my warranty claim because I bought it from a non-Subaru dealership. If you have the extended warranty, then you should be totally fine. There's no reason that they should not like honor the warranty on that one. Do keep me posted on that though, because I am curious. I've heard of people having different experiences whenever it comes to having blown motors. They go to some dealerships are totally fine. They'll cover everything under warranty. Other ones will completely throw warranty out the window and tell you to go like, you get what I'm saying. So keep me posted on that, dude. I'm totally curious to see what happens. Hopefully they get it sorted out for you. Hopefully you get a new motor in the car, and hopefully you get it back on the road soon. Just because I don't like to see anyone's cars down. I want to see everyone like out mobbing around in their cars and enjoying them, enjoying all the cars. Thanks for the walkthrough on the maintenance. I don't want to ever have to use that knowledge myself, but it's fascinating to see it. Anytime, Ben. Anytime, my man. I always like showing all the maintenance stuff for you guys, whether it's like DIY stuff, you're just curious to know how to do it, or like all of that good stuff. For JD... for JDM models for the GC8. I read that as JDM noodles. I was Sorry. The STI used to come with mostly TDO 516G, VF23, VF28, and WX used TDO4. There we go. I don't know too much about the JDM models, but I'm glad that you guys can fill in the gaps. Yo, what's up? Doing an oil change and saw you live. What's going on, dude? Hopefully the oil change goes swimmingly. I just got the stuff to do all the oil and the coolant for that motor out there to go back in the car once it's ready. So all the like fluids are pretty much stocked up, ready to go. I'm so stoked to get that STI going again. So pumped to get it back on the road. That thing is going to be a gnarly little like fun street car. It's going to be it's gonna be a lot more like fun than the 17 STI was. I feel like if you guys have ever driven like an older GD model compared to like a VA model, the GD models offer such more of a like a raw driving experience. They're so fun. And actually, once we get it running again and we get it out on the road, we'll do like comparison videos between like the VA and the 05 or the GDs. Just it's entirely different. It's awesome. I absolutely love them. A few live streams ago, you recommended Fortunato coilovers with upgraded springs. Thanks to your advice, I finally got them. Greetings from England. Hey, congrats, Sonny. You should love those coilovers. Those are always my go-to coilovers. I think on this STI, we might try some Feel 441s, or we might try the upgraded BC Racings instead of Fortunato this time around, just because it's a little bit more budget-friendly. But we'll see when the time comes. But Fortunato, you cannot go wrong with them. Their quality is through the roof with all the coilovers they make, and I'm obviously not affiliated with Fortunato. I just genuinely like their products. And I'm always straightforward with you guys whenever it comes to that stuff. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys that a product's good if I genuinely think it's garbage or it sucks. Like, all manufacturers, they make good parts and they make bad parts. That's just every company. And that's one thing that I've like never been a fan of with people who make videos online, is they always like push every single product from a company, even the ones that suck. Like, it's not good. It's not good. Plumber, powertrain warranty is 60,000 miles. Do you have any advice with dealing with them? I'm really scared. Thank you so much. Just be, like I said, just be upfront and honest with all of the service advisors there. They can see everything that we do in these cars, especially with the newer VA chassis. That ECM houses so much information and so much data. They can see if you misshifted your car at like 3 grand RPM and you downshifted down to like first gear from like fifth gear or something like that, and you shot the like rev limiter all the way through. They can see every little like anomaly and aspect that goes on with the ECM. So like I'm saying, just be like straight up honest up front with all of the service advisors. When you're honest with them, they typically tend to help you out a little bit more than trying to beat around the bush. So just be like upfront, honest. Tell them exactly what happened, and they should help you out, assuming that your warranty is still like active and covers everything. But like I said, just keep me updated, man. Service advisors, they're not scary people, I promise. They're just normal human beings. They're just at their day jobs. Are most front mount intercooler cores good across gen? Because no one makes them for the GC. I feel like I've seen some GC front mount intercoolers out there, but I don't think that all of them are like cross compatible. If I were you, I would just buy like a generic universal intercooler core, fab up some mounting tabs, or have someone fab you up some mounting tabs for it, just so you can like mount it up to the bumper. Aside from that, it should be pretty universal across all platforms. Just the mounting system on each one is going to be a little bit different. Just bought a Fiesta ST, so stoked. There's a couple of Fiesta STs that like roam around here. Those things are loud. They are loud, and it's cool to see that like Cobb supports Fiesta also. So a lot of the Accessport stuff transfers over from like Subaru, Mazda, Ford, Porsche, GTR, all of these ones. It's super cool to see that it's all just like transferable information also. Alex, good evening, sir. Hopefully the evening is treating you well. It is chillin'. I hope it's treating you well as well. It's like a double well. For EBCS, do you need a tune, or can I just throw it on? Do not throw that thing on without a tune. Don't do it. The electronic boost controller won't be set to any parameters, so it's just going to want to do its own thing. Do not throw it on until you have, at minimum, a base tune on the car, just to tell the electronic boost controller like what to do. What kind of short throw shifter do you recommend for my STI? Cartboy has always been my go-to. Cartboy has 100% always been my go-to. I tried the Cobb double adjustable shifter a couple years back. I absolutely hated it. It was either like way too short, way too tall. I couldn't get a good setting on it, and then it just made this awful rattle inside of the short shifter assembly that would just normal driving, normal cruising just sounded awful to deal with every single day. So Cartboy, it's a solid single piece unit. If you do decide to do the Cartboy one, just keep in mind that when you go back under the car, you're going to have to zip tie the reverse lockout cable up a little bit, or else it's going to start dragging on your drive shaft. It's going to start wearing down like a small section of the drive shaft a little bit. It's obviously going to eat through that cable also. And that cable's not too bad to replace, but it's definitely not fun if you don't have to do it. So yeah, Cartboy. EBCS always needs a tune, 100%. Who is a good, reputable FA20 WRX tuner, and did you say I should replace the high pressure fuel pump? No, no need to replace the high pressure fuel pump unless you're shooting for a lot of power. Low pressure fuel pump, the one that sits in the fuel tank. The only high pressure fuel pump available on the market for the WRXs is going to be like the Nordstrom. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But no, you do not need the high pressure fuel pump, just the low pressure fuel pump. As for e-tuners, there's like Ambot, Eric at Torx Performance, Bill at Delicious Tuning. There's a lot of really good e-tuners out there. Just talk to a couple of them, see what they recommend, see what the budget is, and just kind of work with what you got. Play something. What would you like me to play? I can play with this tape measure like I did in the last live stream, but I felt like that was very annoying. So we're not going to do that. Yo, that $50 dono, that's what I'm saying. Alex fucking killed it. Never go in dry. It's true. It's true. Don't put your oil seals on dry. You might rip them, you might tear them, and then you're going to be spending another like $8 on a new seal. Best oil seal install tip ever. That's what I'm saying. Thanks, bud. Hey. Just showing. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, showing the love back. Totally feel it. RCM is Roger Clark Motorsport. Roger Clark. Oh, Roger RCM. Roger Clark Motorsport. I see what you're saying now. Real talk. My Cobb Accessport said fatal error on it. What can I do? It said fatal error. What? I've never heard of that before. Cobb Accessport communication, fatal error. Oh, no information is available for this page. Why? Cobb Accessport fatal error. I've honestly never heard of that before. I've never even seen that pop up. Does that just mean like your engine is like toast? Command F, fatal. Cobb Accessport fatal error. Right there. Take me to that page. Take me to the fatal. That's it? They don't even give any information on it. I don't even know how to help you with that one. I would contact Cobb because they don't even have like any info on it. It just says currently viewing Accessport fatal error. Have you been stuck on a screen with an error message like these? And then when I go read more, it just like takes us back to that other page where it doesn't actually say what fatal error might be. Cannot communicate. A fatal error has occurred. Please contact technical support with information on what was happening before the error occurred. That makes me think that the ECU may have locked up, which is not a good sign. Call Cobb as soon as they open and see what they have to say. Apparently, Adam Hill thinks donuts are cool also. Call Cobb as soon as they open because that sounds like it could be something bad with your ECM. Your ECM may have locked up. Contact Cobb. See what they have to say on that one. Also, Butterfly Effect. Appreciate the dono, dude. I got to run for the night, but hope you have a great new year. You as well, my friend. You as well. But yeah, contact Cobb. See what they say. I've never seen fatal error come up, but from what that page kind of said, like kind of showed, it had a sad face on the Accessport. Just leads me to think that it might be an ECM issue. But hopefully Cobb can get that fixed for you. Hopefully the car's running right also. I got a 92 WRX, so no one makes front mount intercoolers for him. I am sorry to hear. I would definitely go the route of having just like a custom one fabbed up with custom intercooler piping. Probably going to be the easiest route to get one to fit in there like spot on. You just got dropped off at UPS today, and the second one is coming out on Saturday. Super stoked, man. Thanks. Going too deep in 20ception for me. So that's what I'm saying. We're like way too deep in 20ception. What's up? Your video on the SRT4. The SRT4 is not mine. That is Matt's car. Matt was in one of the prior live streams, I think 2 live streams ago. The SRT is his car. It's been sitting for like 8 years. It's got a built motor, big turbo. It's just not one of his priority projects right now. So it's whenever we get parts in, we'll do more videos on the SRT4. I'd love to see that car run. It should make like 700 horsepower when it's done. But for right now, it's not my car. I don't have money to help out Matt to be able to build 3 cars. But whenever he gets parts in, we will definitely make videos on it. How often do you recommend I change the coolant on the WRX? Like once every 100,000 miles. You don't really have to change the coolant out. The only time I do the only reason why I do so many coolant flushes because I end up doing like different modifications to the cooling system. So it requires me to either drain coolant, fill it back up, drain coolant, fill it back up, and it's just a back and forth, never-ending cycle. It's vicious. Dude, I traded my 17 WRX. The throw-up bearing went 4 times. Dealer work. I totally Do not blame you. I do not blame you. Having to replace a throwout bearing 4 times, those FA20 WRXs just seem to like chooch through throwout bearings for some reason. I have no idea why. Also, Omni, appreciate the dono, man. Goal, that's what I'm saying. It's always the pair! I love the little pair like super chat, dude. He's chill. Need a name for him. What about like Greg? Greg the pair? Hey, I recently installed a Cobb short throw on my 07 STI, and now the car won't go all the way in gear, and you can hear the gears clicking. Do you know what it could be? I can't figure it out. So if the short shifter is set too short, it won't allow the actual shifter to put the car in gear. So try raising the shifter up a little bit more, seeing if that helps. It makes me think that you have the shifter like fully maxed out at like the lowest setting. So try adjusting it out a little bit, making it a little bit longer, so that way the throw is a little bit longer, so that way you can get the car in gear. That's what I initially would think that it is. Hopefully that helps you, Fishy Dish, because I've had a similar issue, and it was because the short throw shifter was way too short. Is 1 quart enough for changing brake fluid? If you're flushing the entire system, I would get 2 quarts. I would run 1 quart all the way through the brake system, bleed it all out just to get like all the old fluid out of there, depending on how many miles are on the car, and then start refilling it up with new fluid, get all the air out of the car, or all the air out of the lines also. So I would probably do 2 quarts, but you could probably get away with just doing 1. I import my noodles overnight shipping from Japan. That's what I'm saying. Give me that. What is it? Yakisoba? Is yakisoba Japanese? It's good noodles, wherever it comes from. Thanks for all you do, Tanner. Happy New Year. Hope your future goals come true, bro. God bless. That's what I'm saying. Hey, appreciate the support, my man. Happy New Year to you as well. And Happy New Year's Eve. Couldn't be better with a live chat from you. Hey, appreciate it, Marco. Figured we'd do one more before the year ended. I figured why not, right? If my chat would chill. Best oil for a tuned application FAWX Motul. What is that? Motul X Clean. X Clean. It has a little bit better minerals in it for the FA direct injection motors than the other ones would. So just a easy way to remember it. X Clean FA20WX Access, like EJ platform, all EJ platform. Getting my STI in February with a fully forged and CDP 2.35 stroker. I'm super excited. I'm excited for you, Sonny. Follow up after you get the car. I'm definitely interested to see like how you like it, especially with a stroker kit on it. Bought a 2OT Genesis coupe over a WRX because I didn't want a motor with problems. Jenny blew up. Ooh, sorry. Did the Genesis blow up? Sorry to hear if the Genesis blew up. But I totally don't blame you. WRXs, they can be pretty finicky. Same with STIs, especially if you get a used old one like mine out there sitting in the garage with a giant paperweight right now. They can definitely be temperamental cars. They can be like very temperamental motors also. But hopefully your Genesis didn't blow up, because that's not fun. That's not fun at all. I like the Genesis. Genesis are cool cars, especially the 2OTs. What is it? The 2OT and the naturally aspirated 3.6. I've heard better things about the 3.6 than the 2OT. But I mean, honestly, either one sounds like a fun car. Get them ETS headers. That's what I was looking at last night. So when I was ordering parts last night, was it last night? I don't know. I was looking at headers. I was looking at intercoolers. I was like, all right, I need to start checking stuff off the list. We're going through the list. We'll get headers sometime this month. Probably next payday. We'll probably order headers. I love the Blob Eye, but a Hawkeye recently popped up, heavily modified, but no build list. Should I want to find a less modified Blob? I would definitely suggest finding one less modified. If it doesn't have a build list, I typically tend to stay away. 100% just stay away, because then you're going to get yourself in a situation or scenario like I'm in, where you're going to have like all these tiny little problems that all add up. Then you're going to be pulling the motor out of the car. Then you're going to be like dealing with that whole situation. It's just not a fun situation to have to deal with if you don't have to. Like with mine, like it's just don't stay away from it if it doesn't have a full build list from like a reputable shop that you're like familiar with, or if like the owner, just get a more stock one. Anyone had problems when one of their coilovers will lower more than the other side after settling them in? I would go back through, I would do a full alignment on the car also after you get those coilovers in. You get the height adjusted. It's not that the alignment isn't going to mess with the height of the car, but it's still like necessary to do. What I use is, whenever I go in there, I use a set of calipers and I just measure the distance. A lot of people like count threads. It can be a little bit inaccurate. Just grab like a set of calipers or something. It'll give you like the best measurement to be able to get those as close as you can. Get the height set with the calipers. If that's not doing it, check your preload. Your preload might be off. One side might be have like more like preload set than the other side, and that's going to definitely affect the height aspect as well. So I would start with those two areas and then kind of go from there. Tyler Johnson, what up, homie? What up, Mickey? What up? Happy New Year, you guys. Yeah, I bought it used and it came with a Cobb Accessport. Just put some rock blocks, mud flaps on it. Gotta get that rally look. That's what I'm saying. Eventually gonna make some engine mods. I totally feel it. Totally feel it. Enjoy the car for a little bit before you actually start like doing a lot of the engine mods. Definitely changes the dynamic of the car once you start doing a lot of those engine mods also. But sounds like it'll be fun. Which kind of clutch would you run on a 400 wheel Torque WRX C Clutchmaster ACT or what else? It's not a daily driver. So I could run a rock hard pedal with no problem. I would definitely check out X Clutch. X Clutch is like up and coming in the United States. They're an Australian-based company that just started selling clutches over here in the United States. I want to say earlier in 2020. We're going to be running a twin disc X Clutch in the 17 STI. I've got it out in the garage. I believe I've showed you guys that one already. But X Clutch, they're pretty affordable. They can handle some torque. They can handle some beating, and they make some pretty good clutches. I would definitely swing out, check out like X Clutch if you don't want to snag like an ACT competition or like a Clutchmaster or something like that. Do you think a rotated Precision 5858 will last on a stock EJ207 V7? How much power are you trying to push? EJ207s are pretty comfortable around 400 wheel horsepower. When you start getting past that 400 wheel horsepower mark, you're starting to get dicey. It doesn't really matter what turbo setup you plan on running. Like 400 plus on a stock EJ207, you're gonna start running into some reliability issues. But do I think it'll work with an EJ207 under 400 horsepower? You shouldn't have any issues at all. Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year to you, Mr. Serious. Hopefully you loosen up a little bit. Not as serious tonight. You're chill, relaxed, kicking it. Have you ever had to deal with insurance claim adjusters? Unfortunately, yes. Any tips? If so, my poor 19WX has a smashed passenger side front end. My headlight that I built over a weekend are done for. So whenever it comes to insurance adjusters, what I typically do when I talk to them is the only time I've really had to deal with it was on my 2004 350Z. Someone hit and ran my car in a parking lot, totally smashed in the front end, the front bumper, the fender, and a headlight. What I ended up doing is I just had the insurance company pay me and I fixed the car out of pocket. They'll typically pay you a shop rate, or they'll give you a shop rate based on like X amount of hours it'll take to fix the car and like all of the parts that need to be replaced. So I ended up making, I want to say it was like $2,800 after I ended up fixing the car. The car looked absolutely perfect. There was no frame damage or any like major damage, anything like that. It was just a fender, a bumper, and a headlight that needed replaced. So I ended up at the time opting for like carbon fiber fenders, like a Nismo front bumper, and like some weird like eBay headlights at the time. But that's just what I do. If you are going to have it taken to a shop, get quotes from multiple shops also, because some of them will install aftermarket options for you if you opt into it. Other ones are pretty strict whenever it comes to the insurance stuff, and they will only do like OEM or third-party OEM replacement parts. Dang, 400 wheel torque on the 5-speed. 400 wheel torque WRX on the 5-speed. You're flirting with danger there, my friend. You are absolutely flirting with danger there. Those WX transmissions, I've seen those things blow up prematurely at like 330 foot-pounds of torque. So if yours is still going strong, just be gentle with it. Be gentle with her. Also, Eric, appreciate the dono, dude. Bro, you desperately need a good digital torque wrench. Got a P.O. box because I might just have to buy you one. If you guys do want to send anything over, there's always the P.O. box is always linked down in the description of the videos. It's in every single video. If anyone does want to send anything over, totally open for it. The little Tecton $40 torque wrench worked great. I think it worked awesome. I'm pretty sure it worked awesome. It felt like it worked awesome. It did the clicky thing whenever it clicked. Totally did it. Totally did it. But yeah, if you guys do want to send anything over, the P.O. Box address is in the description of every single video. Always appreciate the support. Always appreciate the donos also. Greatly appreciated, Eric. What maintenance should I do if I start getting some negative 4.2 and above feedback knock? Occasional feedback knock of up to like negative 2.8 and occasional dam drop to 0.5 on a stock tune 06 Forester XT. Are you just using the Accessport? Only real engine mod is a bigger SDI intercooler. I'm replacing plugs soon. The intercooler shouldn't be throwing off the tune too much. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than the stock WRX one, but the volumetric efficiency of that thing shouldn't create enough of a disturbance in airflow to create significant knock or occasional dam. If you are getting reduced dam, it could be something with that OE tune on the car. You could try flashing just some OTS tune on the car if you wanted to. You could have some internal issue with the motor. You could have a vacuum leak that's causing parameters to be thrown off a little bit. As for the knock, you could have like a loose heat shield, maybe a bolt on top of the motor that's rattling around when you're driving. Those knock sensors are pretty sensitive. If you have just a loose bolt chilling somewhere near that knock sensor on top of the motor, whenever you're driving, if you hit a speed bump and it just clanks around a little bit, it can set off that knock sensor also. So I would honestly start with what you're doing, replacing plugs soon. If that doesn't fix it, then going a little bit deeper, look on top of the block, see if you can find anything loose rattling around. If that's not it, then it could be the tune. I would try just using an OTS tune because it sounds like you already have an Accessport on the car. So that way you could easily just try adjusting the tune a little bit to see if something else is working a little bit better. Cylinder 3 misfire. Fix anything. What? Cylinder 3 misfire. Fix anything? Mr. Serious, I do not understand what you're asking. I don't understand the question. Are you saying you have a cylinder 3 misfire? If you do, I would start with like spark plugs, obviously, coil packs, kind of go from there, but it's a very vague question. What would I look for in a high mileage 08 Impreza hatch manual? If it's just an Impreza and it's naturally aspirated, keep in mind that those earlier model ones, especially if it's being an 08, do have a tendency to have an issue with the head gaskets. If that's the case, just keep that in mind. You might have to swap with the head gaskets depending on what mileage it's at. It's not terribly bad to do, but you are going to have to go to a head shop, have them remachine the heads, reflatten everything, get everything resurfaced. But if you are looking for it, like high mileage stuff, like rear fender arches, check for rust if it's in like more of a northern area where they salt the roads a little bit more. But aside from that, they're pretty solid cars. Head gaskets and rust are really the only thing you really got to look out for on those ones. How much horsepower can the low pressure fuel pump handle? The stock one is probably good up to like 300 wheel horsepower, and then you're gonna have to like start swapping it out. This is the last live stream of 2020. Watch, totally gonna throw you guys through the loop. Maybe I'll do it at like 11:58. I'm not going to, but you never know. Let a shop change my oil when I got my new tires on the 17WX. They didn't replace the plug gasket. Guess what I'm dealing with now. That's annoying. Also noticed oil on the rear passenger side of the engine cam cover near the turbo lines. Take it back. Make them fix it. If you paid them, take it back. If they missed a gasket or they didn't replace a gasket that they were supposed to replace, talk to them, obviously. Fox, I thought you were selling that thing also. Why have you not sold it yet, Fox? Fox! What is happening? Perry the Peach. I could do Perry the Peach. I'm going to go adjust my short throw right now, and I'll be back. Thanks. I'll keep you updated in a few minutes. For sure. Let me know, Fishy Dish. I'm definitely curious to see if that fixed it. Any idea on how your old BRZ is doing? It's doing great. I saw it last week, actually, when I was out and about driving around. Seems like it's doing just fine. They rewrapped the car to like a brushed aluminum brushed titanium look. It looks a lot better than the half wrap that we had on it. I'll give them that. But performance wise, they were talking about converting it over to E85, getting another tune through build down at Delicious Tuning. So it sounds like everything is pretty solid. Is it safe to put unequal length headers on the 2020 WRX? This question comes up all the time. Unequal length headers on an FA20, don't do it. What you're doing is you're making a less efficient system for the car. The car came with equal length headers for the twin scroll setup for the turbocharger. If you swap those out and you put unequal length ones on there, you're obviously losing the whole capability of having the twin scroll setup. You're reducing your fuel mileage. You're creating hotter EGT temps in cylinders 2 and 4, which can translate to increased knock in those two cylinders also, which just isn't good for the car. I don't suggest anyone do the unequal length headers on the FA20. It's not a good setup. Tomei released, I honestly thought Tomei, like when they released those and they announced those, I thought they did it as a joke. It was not a joke. They actually sold them. Real quick, proper Stage 2 Plus route, sir. 17WX before Pro Tune. If you're looking for a Stage 2 Plus on a 17WX, it's going to be a turbo back exhaust, J-pipe, cat back, whatever one you choose, and an intake. That's pretty much just Stage 2 Plus on those cars. If you really want to go more before doing a Pro Tune, low pressure fuel pump, EGR delete, TGV delete, boost controller, intercooler, or charge pipe are both very good options. That should get you a little saucy. Obviously, an air oil separator, throw that one in there too, just for reliability. But pretty saucy right there. You should be able to do that, no problem. Basic bolt-ons. But what weight? 5W40? 5W40. Yes, correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the oil for, what is it? Mutual 5W40 Access. This oil is what I suggest for all EJs. This Gen 2 XS. That is Gen 1. Where's the Gen 2? I don't think they have any pictures of the Gen 2. This stuff, well, whatever. It's the same packaging. This is what I suggest for all EJ motors. 8100 XS 5W40. If you have a FA20 E-Clean or X-Clean, this is what I suggest for all FA20s is the X-Clean 5W40. Very good oils. Very good oils. Ooh, yeah, 400 wheel torque on a stock 5-speed. You're flirting with danger. We talked about know anyone on YouTube building an RA block to STI. Need to learn more about the block. Have a 2020 STI. The 05 has a RA block. But as for anyone specific who's like building a type RA short block, I have no idea. I haven't seen anyone do it. A lot of the other Subaru YouTube people that I come across are very vague what they do. I don't think they know a lot what they're doing. I came across, I don't like to like talk negative about anyone, but I came across like an entire 20-minute video dedicated to a battery tie down, and I don't understand it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. But no, I don't know anyone specific who's doing just a type RA short block build, unfortunately. When is the EJ33 coming back? So it's an EG33, but it should be coming back in about 2 to 3 weeks or so. The last update I got from Outfront Motors, I will read you guys the email word for word from Jeremy down there. Here it is. EG33 heads. Pistons shipped. This was on December 22nd. Pistons shipped last week. Looks like we are in the home stretch. And that was on December 22nd to see the update on the Pistons, to see if CP had anything going on with our Pistons. So the Pistons shipped, what I'm guessing the week before the 20, obviously the week before the 22nd. So the Pistons are with Outfront Motors. So they're either going to be doing the engine assembly this week, which I don't know because it's like holiday season still. They could be doing the engine assembly next week. So Jeremy is going to send over some photos to me when they actually start doing the assembly process. So I don't think they've done it quite yet. But here in the next like 2 to 3 weeks, we should have our 6-cylinder back, which I am like incredibly excited for. I have the rebuilt oil pump in the garage. I have the clutch, the motor mounts, the fuel pressure regulator, the fuel rails, the injectors, the lower TGVs. I need to figure out an oil pan situation. I don't know if I'm going to run the stock oil pan. It's a pretty big oil pan already with the stock oil pickup and just clean them up. I'm not entirely sure quite yet. I might try to have a company fabricate one up for us. I don't think we like desperately need like that much more engine oil. I would at least like to try to get some better baffling in there, but we'll see. I'll reach out to a couple companies, see if anyone can like custom make one for us, but we should be good to go as soon as we get the motor back to at least get that EG33 bolted up to the transmission and dropped in the engine bay. Where did I go? I went on a tangent. 2011 WRX running E100. Hey, that sounds like a party. That thing sounds like a party. Yo, I kind of need help. LOL, my speedometer and odometer don't work. I'm sorry to hear. I got like five lights on dash. Code is ISP0500. Vehicle speed sensor A is the one on the transmission, or the wheel speed sensor 2014 STI. ISP0500. I'm just going to do a quick Google. ISP0500. Let me see. It looks like there aren't many great matches for your search. Thanks. Thanks, Google. Well, if it's between a speed sensor and a wheel speed sensor, I would start with the cheaper of the options and replace one of them. If it is just completely, if the TAC is a speedometer and odometer, that don't work. Why would the odometer not work? The odometer should continue to work, but if the speedometer is not working, the car's not registering any miles. So if the car's not registering any miles and the odometer is not working, I would think that it would be a vehicle. I think it would be the vehicle speed sensor, and I don't think it would be a wheel speed sensor, because if it was a wheel speed sensor, then you'd get like the traction control, the hill assist, all of those lights come on the dash. If it's not registering at all, I'm guessing it's vehicle speed sensor, because if it can't register the speed, it doesn't know how fast you're going, and it doesn't know how to put miles on the car, so that's why your odometer wouldn't be working. I'd start with vehicle speed sensor and then go from there. Ethanol makes huge torque numbers. It does. We had ethanol in the 17 STI, and it was fantastic. I loved that thing. I'm kind of almost sure my last complimentary oil change at the dealer either didn't retie my oil plug or reuse the washer. That's annoying. I've seen dealers do that. I've also seen dealers not even pull the drain plug off the oil pan. I've seen them suck like a tube down into the oil pan and just bloop, 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 through like the oil dips. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it. Is it safe to put unequal? We talked about that. Blue, why are you commenting the same thing so much, man? Now best oil filter, question mark. I always use Prova. If I can't get my hands on a Prova, then what is the other one? Greddy, Prova, Mazda filters. Last resort is always the Subaru Blue ones, which we have on the car right now, which needs to come off for either a Mazda or a Prova or something like that. But Subaru Blue is always like last resort for oil filters. Digital torque wrench inbound from Amazon, should arrive Monday. Thanks for the content. Appreciate the torque wrench, Eric. Appreciate it, man. And the dono too, dude. Looking forward to getting to use that. We'll unbox it on the channel or in a live stream. I don't know if we're in here live streaming and it gets dropped off. We'll definitely do it here. But appreciate it, dude. You didn't have to do that. That's so nice. That's so nice. You guys send over some cool stuff. I always appreciate it, you guys. I always feel like guilty too whenever you guys like send stuff over, but I do greatly appreciate it. I'm currently using, does that say Fux? Titan Pro Race 10W50 engine oil. It's being recommended a lot here in the UK. What are your thoughts on this oil? I've personally never heard of that oil before. I'll do a little research into it because I'm a little bit curious on it also, just based off of the name. But I can't say I've ever heard of it. I've heard of people using 10W50 engine oil, but I typically only see people use 10W50 engine oil as break-in engine oil because it's a little bit higher in mineral. But I'll look into that because I've never heard of that oil before. Also, X Pavins? I'm so bad at reading names. I'm so sorry. You make great videos and you helped me a lot as a new person to the car world. Thank you for all the detail in the videos. Hey, appreciate the dono, man, and I'm glad the videos are helping my friends. I try to like cover as much like in-depth detail stuff as possible, but I don't like going super in-depth and detailed with some of the things that we've already done and have dedicated videos for. So typically, if I always say we have a dedicated video to it, I'll start trying to link it a little bit better up in the corner so that way it pops up. Do you trust OEM brake fluid? OEM brake fluid is all I use. It's all I use. It's cheap and it works. Any recommendations for forged pistons on a CDBEJ20G? Whenever it comes to like forged pistons, I typically like to stick with Manley. I've had pretty good like outcomes with Manley in the past. I've never tried CP. This is the first time I'm trying CP pistons with the EG33. So I can give you a follow-up on the CP pistons at some point in the future. But right now I'm going to say Manley only because I've used them in the past. Where did I go? What parts are you comfortable buying used? I want to do engine mods on a budget, but I'm concerned about buying certain things like equal length headers and external wastegate used off of Marketplace or Facebook groups. So, exhaust stuff. Blue Chip, if you ask again, he might just miss it. Blue Chip, we already talked about your question, dude. What parts do I feel comfortable buying used? That's a good question. Typically, any exhaust components, I'm totally fine with buying used as long as they're not like completely beat to hell. Intercoolers, I'm fine buying used. The only things that I tend to stay away from buying used is going to be like fuel components, unless they've been tested. If someone's selling like a used set of like ID 1300s and they've had them flow tested prior to selling them, with like a date on the sheet and everything like that, I'm totally fine with that. But aside from like fuel stuff, I'll stay away from. Obviously, used clutches and flywheels unless you're planning on having it resurfaced. Brakes, obviously, your pads, rotors, you don't not really need to buy those used. Those are wear items. What else? Turbos are a little bit hit or miss. depending on the seller. Typically, whenever I'm buying a used turbo, I always ask for like videos to be sent of it with like shaft play, make sure it's like nothing damaged on it, everything is in working order. If it's a stock turbo you're buying, check for wastegate crack. It's not a problem on the cars, but it's just nice to know if you're getting one with a wastegate crack or not. But for the most part, I'm pretty fine buying anything used as long as it looks like it's still in good condition, and if it's something that requires flow testing, that it's been flow tested. Personal preference on those ones though. Aren't all brake fluids just like .3? You can get .4 brake fluid also. Typically, you only really need to go to a .4 brake fluid if you're tracking the car and you need something with a higher boiling point. Because as you're getting on the brakes a lot more, obviously it's going to heat up. The brake fluid's going to expand. It's going to get hot too. So if you're going out to like the track consistently, that's really only the time you really need .4 brake fluid. So .3 should get you by most of the time. What are my thoughts on Fitment Industries? I mean, they're a company, they're a place. I've never ordered anything from them because their prices are significantly higher than what I can find in other places. So I can't say I've ever actually bought anything off of Fitment Industries. I can tell you that the blue STI is on there twice with 2 different wheel setups over the years. So there's that. But no, as like ordering stuff from them, I've never ordered anything from them just because I can tend to find things cheaper on other websites. They're high. Their prices are high. You shouldn't have to convert to inch pounds. LOL. What's wrong with why? What's wrong with the inch pound? What's okay? All right. I mean, it works though. It works. Sometimes you just gotta have a calculator. Just gotta have a calculator. I just bought all the titanium to start fabbing my parts, so you should be seeing something from me soon. Ooh, I'm excited. I am excited. Blue chip, if you ask Genny. What's up, man? Probably dumb question. Can you swap out different gearing from different STI trans? I know you have to swap the diffs. I know. That's a good question. I've actually never looked into that. I know if you're just like swapping out to an aftermarket gears, actually, yeah, you can. Now that I think about it, because if you can swap in a different gear set from a different company, like I believe Tomei makes gearing. I might not be them. But if you can swap in, drop in gears into your transmission from a company, you shouldn't have any issue swapping them from another transmission as long as they're coming from the same transmission. But like you said, they're both STI. The transmission designs are the same. They just have different gearing. So I don't see any issues with swapping those over. I would see if you can find some old forums off of like Naziok or I Got an STI or something like that just to verify. But I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to. What are the best gauges to monitor on the Accessport? Also, AstroTurf, appreciate the dono. All right, we know you like Subies, but out of curiosity, what kind of trucks are you into, if all? That's a good question. I do like trucks, but I like diesels. I would love to have a diesel truck at some point in the future. They're just so expensive. But for trucks, if I were to get one, I've always liked Cummins. They seem like I've worked on a couple Cummins. They're fast. They can be made fast. They're fun. They make a lot of torque. My buddy had an old F250. It wasn't old. It was like a 2005 F250. I liked that truck a lot too. So if I were to get one, it would either be a Cummins or an F250. Best gauges to monitor on the Accessport. The 6 that I typically tend to monitor is DAM, feedback knock, cylinder roughness if I see that there's an issue somewhere, upstream air fuel ratio, boost, coolant temp if I need to monitor the cooling system, intake air temperature just so I know what my intake temps are, so that way I'm not romping on the car if IATs are super high, just because you want to get the coolest air you can into the car, so obviously IATs is a good one to monitor. I'm new to the car world, so forgive me. My silly question. You're totally good, Jack. But are there any issues with vented hoods? I want one for my 86, but I'm worried about water and soap getting in there. No, dude! I used to have a vented hood on my old BRZ. I have a vented hood on the 17 STI. I love vented hoods. There's no issues with them. If you're going to be installing your own vents like I did on both of mine, just keep in mind vent placement, where you're going to be putting them. Verus Engineering for your 8.6. Look at Verus Engineering. They make a hood vent design that allows you to put water traps on the underside of the hood vent, so that way if it does rain or anything like that, it'll push all that water down towards the radiator and keep all of that water off of the engine. So check out Verus Engineering. They make awesome hood vents for that car. Did he answer my question about the coilovers? For one, lowering them had to pick up a phone call. I did. We answered your question. I'll see if I can find it again, just because I don't remember the question off the top of my head. Anyone had problems with their coilovers? Oh, yeah, coilover problem. Check your preload. Your preload might be set a little bit more on one side than it is on the other. So if that's the case, that's going to change the height between the two of them. So make sure that your preload is set accordingly on both of the coilovers. If both of them match, just make sure all measurements line up, and it should be good at that point. But preload would be the first thing that I check. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Evan Ace. Would it be more worth it to wait to have a 2022 STI or start modding my current 2020? I would say start modifying your current 2020. I would avoid the 2022 STI for at least the first 6 to 8 months upon release, just for any TSBs or recalls that Subaru is going to have with the FA24. I do predict some. Some could be worse than I may be predicting. I could also be over-exaggerating it, but looking at Subaru's track record, there's always some or X amount of recalls that happen with new motors and new chassis when they first come out. I don't feel like waiting another 7 hours for my oil change. I don't blame you. Your opinion on safest power on stock block 17 STI. 401 wheel horsepower is going to be my answer on that one, only because I did it. So 401 wheel horsepower, 380-ish foot-pounds of torque is a pretty safe number. Anything past that, I don't know, because 401 is kind of where I capped out. My wonderful senator here in Kentucky is blocking the money. I need to get rid of it sooner than March. Well, that's not nice of him. Hopefully he frees that up. Don't do it, LOL. Can someone help me figure out if I need a retune if I'm downsizing on my fuel injectors? Can't find anything online. Yes, you will need a retune. Rice Scopes, you are changing the injector scaling, so the ECU is still going to think that you have this size injector on the car, and it's going to try to scale it to that injector size. So if you go down to a smaller injector size, it'll need to be retuned or rescaled. Had a P0606 PCM code on my car, and it wouldn't start until 4th or 5th try. Couldn't clear the code on the Accessport till 3rd try. Car ran fine. Any ideas? All right, so P0606. Let's see. P0606. Is a diagnostic code PCM. Oh. Ooh, I've seen this before. Is a diagnostic trouble code for PCM processor fault. Our certified mobile mechanics can come to your home or office to perform a check engine light They charge $90 for a check engine light diagnosis. I don't even know what company that is, but that's outrageous. Sounds like you might be having a short in the ECM. I've heard of this happening before. I've never actually seen it. I would heavily monitor that one. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. If it does, how much does an ECM go for? We'll use like a 2015 WRX as an example. How much would a replacement? You can get a used one for like $270 if you had to. They're a little bit of a pain to swap out. I've seen a couple of them go bad before. Hopefully it's not going bad. I would heavily monitor that one. If it continues to get worse, swap out the PCM. Hopefully that's not the case. If you're still under warranty, you could try bringing it back and seeing if they can do anything. But hopefully it's just a glitch in the matrix and it's nothing actually bad. Whoa, thanks. I've been using 5W30 synthetic mobile. Mobile's not bad either, though. Hey, man, I got my STI back. I know, I'm jealous. And I'm noticing a little bit of chirping first gear pulls. All other gear are perfect. What do you think? I'm also happy. Happy New Year's, man. Can't wait to see the 2015 STI. Congrats on getting your car back, dude. It's awesome setup having the STI and the GTR. If you're having a little bit of chirping in first gear, I would go through and do, the history of your own car, too. Sorry, it's a brand new clutch. It could just be the clutch breaking in. But if the fluid hasn't been swapped out in a while, the fluid just might need to be changed. There could be a little bit of mineral in the fluid, so that way whenever you're trying to like get into gear, you might be getting like a small chirp of it just because you're having a like very minute particulate in between the gears, and it could just be a little bit. So if you haven't changed out the fluid in a while, that would be my first suggestion. If not, it could be the clutch, and just let that clutch break in a little bit. How much horsepower do you think I will push with ETS catted J-pipe, parent cat, ETS catted J-pipe, and catback? Or parent catback, parent headers, AOS, EGR, TGV, delete, Mishimoto radiator. Radiator's not going to add any power. AOS isn't going to add any power. EGR and TGV will add a little bit of power. Headers, catback, J. So you're going to have a header back. Stock turbo, no intake. I would do intake boost controller also, but I would expect to see around 280 to 300 wheel horsepower, depending on what dyno you're going on. What low pressure fuel pump do you recommend for predicted horsepower? I would use the AEM 340 liter per hour. It is a good fuel pump. It's a drop-in fuel pump, and it's pretty cheap. I think it's like 110 bucks. Rice scopes, we talked about that. I believe. Downsizing, yeah, rice scope, we talked about that. P0500, what is that in relation to? P0500, P0500. P0500. I don't know what that's in relation to. Amateur Auto linked a video, but it won't let me unblock it. Watched this. Let me know what you think. I can't watch it because it won't let me unlink it. Why not Subaru Blue filter? Subaru Blue filters are pretty much a Fram OEM filter. They're not very good. They're pretty cardboard and papery on the inside of the filter, so they don't do the best job of actually filtering out any particulate in the oil. They work, but there's just better options out there for the same price. I just got a 2019 STI. What exhaust sound I get? What exhaust should I get? Personal preference, I like the ETS Extreme. With or without mufflers, that's totally up to you, but I just like the look of the quad exhaust. Some people like the Tomei. The Tomei is also a very good exhaust too. It's very loud. Personal opinion, I just don't like the angle at which the Tomei sits and how large the muffler actually is. But aside from that, it sounds awesome. Can someone help me figure out... You guys, all right. For everyone new, for the new people in the chat, I promise you guys, if you just post your question one time, I will get to it in the chat. I pinky promise I will get to it. Pending it's not like all the way at the bottom of the chat. We've been going for like 2 hours or something like that. I just watched that Racing Channel's new video, Flat 6. I checked it out. I watched it also. They used an EZ30, so it's a 3-liter. I believe it makes just under 900 horsepower with a sequential trans. Ours will make more power. We also have more displacement. We'll have a bigger turbo. Our motor will be a little bit more built than theirs also. Our motor is being built for 1,200 wheel horsepower. We're going to be shooting for 1,000 to 1,100. But yeah, that Flat 6 and that Hawkeye, it's an awesome car. He used an EZ30. I think they just did like rods, pistons, closed deck, a little bit of headwork, and a giant turbo on that thing with the sequential trans. Awesome car. Ours will be better though. Just saying. Just saying. True. What is this thing that I've missed? What is this thing? True, I live like 2 miles from Fitment Industries. Their prices are crazy. Their prices are stupid expensive. Happy New Year. You helped me make a lot of decisions. Keep up the videos. Hey, appreciate it, man. Yeah, Flat 6 Subies are monsters. That they are. What's up, brother? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Jeffrey. What's going on, dude? I just put a remote start in dam's gone some. What do you mean it's gone some? Where did it go? Well, what is it? What is your dam now? A remote start shouldn't affect your dam. Gonna head out. Best of luck in 2021. Hey, Happy New Year, Andrew. Hope you have a good New Year's Eve. Thanks for answering my question about the hood vents, man. Much appreciated. Anytime, Jack. Just make sure you install them the correct way, so that way they're not flipped upside down like mine was. Total mistake. Let's go, Canadians. Killing it in the world. Juniors this year. Hey. Do not buy from Fitment Industries. They sold me the wrong wheel size, and needless to say, I ended up having to sell them myself to get my money back. Horrendous customer service on there. Ooh, I am sorry to hear. I can't say I've ever ordered from them. I haven't really ever needed to order anything from them. But good to hear some like actual customer feedback from them too. Go with Rallysport direct for Subi wheels. They know their stuff and super fast shipping. I wish I could say the same about my clutch right now with Rallysport, getting me all worked up out here. Can I get a Cobb access for BMW 3 Series just to monitor stats? They do. Unfortunately, Cobb does not support BMW. If you go on Cobb's website, you can see like every single chassis and every single car that they monitor. But I don't think any BMWs are on that list, unfortunately. So any recommendations for coilovers for off-road gravel that won't break the bank? If you're doing like off-road gravel, you're looking for coilovers, I would probably suggest BC Racing, but to be honest, a spring and strut setup would probably be the best for off-roading. But if you're like set on coilovers, I would consider BC Racing just because they're a little bit cheaper. They're going to get beat up a little bit. Just do some maintenance on the coilovers every now and then, and they should last you a while. You may need to corner balance your car if all measurements are good. That's also another one. Do you think the FA24 will keep the non-symmetrical rod? I hope not. I don't like that design because that's more than likely why a lot of the FA20s have connecting rod issues. If you guys don't know what it is, it's like, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. 2015 BRZ rod. Why did I just do that? Oh, those are Brian Crower rods, and they still look weird. So when he says non-symmetrical, this is what they look like. So the FA20s use a rod design like this, where you can see the rod isn't like centered where it should be. Versus, we'll do this like 2015 STI rod. Boop. So on the OEM STI rod, you can obviously, that is a symmetrical design. You can flip it one way and it's still going to be the same, the rod will be in the same spot, like the shaft of the rod will be in the same spot. You can't do that though because the cam caps break off on a certain way, but that's just like hypothetically talking. Versus the FA20 ones, you can see that they're offset rods. This is a lot of the issues with the stock FA20 WRX is because they're offset rods. You start adding a lot more, you start adding a lot more pressure inside of the cylinder when you start turning up boost. It puts a lot more compression back onto the rods, and then they crumble, they snap, they break, they just wreck everything. I hope that they don't do this for the FA24 unless they're actually beefing up the rods a lot more. I would prefer to see something along the lines of a standard rod design, but we will see what Subaru decides to do with that. Hopefully they fix that rod issue and it isn't a major problem for us. Do you think the EJ20 heads will fit on an EJ20G? EJ20K heads will fit on an EJ20G? Cannot confirm. I don't want to say yes or no on that one. I'd have to do some research to try to find that one out. Corner balance doesn't last for gravel. I believe the corner balance comment was in line with the one we talked about where the car just wasn't, the height wasn't the same. I think that's what that one was in reference to. Happy early New Year, man. Happy early New Year, Cuts 1994, my man. I have a question. I keep getting code P000D code on my 19 STI. Any idea what it can be? P00 3 zeros. All right, so P30D. So let's see. P123D. Camshaft position, slow response bank 2. How to easily we'll do this. Boop, boop, boop. Camshaft position sensor. Camshaft position sensors measures the. I would start off by just replacing the sensor because it sounds like the sensor just might be going bad. So it's a camshaft position 2 sensor. So you've got a bank 1 and a bank 2, obviously left side, right side. I believe camshaft position sensor 2 is on the left side of the engine, which is the driver's side. So I would start off by checking those sensors. If the sensors look fine, I've seen some sensors where they get smacked by the cam sometimes. No idea how it happens. I've seen like a couple of them where that happens. I have no idea how. It's like the cam cap comes loose a little bit and it allows the cam to move around and it smacks the sensor. And then you get a whole bunch of problems and the car doesn't run right. But the sensor just might be going bad. If it is popping up, you have a 19 STI, you should be under warranty still. Swing it back to Subaru, see what they say, have them check it out. Should be no problem to you. It should be under warranty and they should be able to take care of it. The man doesn't lie. He gets to your questions. I promise I get to the questions. I promise. On oil filters, found Tokyo Rokies for the STI, but had a WXDIT and Crosstrek and a bunch of other fat, short, black filters. Can one use those in an STI EJ257? I'm sure they would thread right on. You shouldn't have. I don't see why you couldn't use them. Actually, I can see why you wouldn't. You can't. You cannot use them for... So if it's an FA20 DIT or something along those lines, the bottom of the filter base is going to be a lot wider than what the stock STI oil cooler will allow for. So no, they are not cross-compatible, unfortunately. Are forged internals untouchable? As in they won't take a dump like an OEM block. Yes and no. It depends on how much power you're going to be pushing with the car. Say your motor is built for 700 wheel horsepower. If you're making 500 wheel horsepower, 600 wheel horsepower, the internals shouldn't give you any problem because they're rated up to 700 wheel horsepower. You're not putting any stress on them. If your internals are rated to 700 horsepower and you're making 800 horsepower, then yes, they can still take a dump on you. Side note, would love to see a sequential trans install. That would be, I'd totally be down to do it, but it wouldn't be for a while until we actually got everything sorted out motor wise in that 17 STI. But I'd be totally down to do it. We could do it. We could build it. We can build it. Let's just baby steps. We'll get the motor running in that car first. Incredibly excited to get that motor back too from Out Front Motors. Once we get that thing back, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time getting that 6-cylinder to fit properly in that car. P0500 is the code I get for my 2014 STI with this. Oh, speedometer. Gotcha. No worries. Those mods are just for daily drivers, so should I get an intake and boost controller? I won't be driving it hard just to make it reliable and fun. If you're just looking to make it reliable and fun as a daily driver in a 17WX, turbo back exhaust, J-pipe, cat back, intake, Accessport, AOS. Do like modify it to that extent for a little while, drive it around, enjoy the car. When you want more power, take it to get like pro tuned with like an electronic boost controller, TGV delete, EGR delete, all the other fun goodies. But just start with the basics, drive the car for a little bit, see how you like it, and then just kind of go from there. What website do you recommend purchasing wheels from? Where have I bought all of my wheels in the past? Prior speaking, the only place I've ever bought wheels I think has been off of Rallysport Direct and eBay. Not eBay, Craigslist, local stuff. Whenever buying them new though, I think the only place I've actually ordered them brand new is from like Rallysport. Perrin lightweight pulley. Any info? I hear it turns out 500 RPMs after overstock. Don't run lightweight crank pulleys. Don't do it. If you want to swap out your crank pulley, get like an ATI super damper or a fluid damper or something along those lines. When you guys swap to a lightweight crank pulley, there's no absorption in that crank pulley anymore. So all of the vibration that would be going into the crankshaft, instead of getting absorbed by the crank pulley, is now just being beat on by the crankshaft. So all those vibrations, it just puts extra stress on the car. It's not needed. You don't need a lightweight crank pulley. I promise. Just keep the stock one on there. If you really want to swap it out, get a fluid dampener or get like a super dampener, something along those lines. I've never felt the need for more travel with that setup on a GC. With space. Oh, gotcha. That was in reference to above. Wondering if I should build my bottom end and get a conservative tune to an STI, about 320 wheel horsepower. A good idea for reliability. For reliability, I mean, you're totally in the safe zone. I wouldn't worry about any mechanical issues unless you're like driving the car 100% all the time and just beating on it. You should be totally fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. 300 to 320 is a pretty good safe spot. What kind of maintenance can you do on coilovers? Good question. I'd say at least once a year to pull them off the car, clean them up, disassemble them, put some type of like anti-seize on the lower locking collar so that way they don't seize up. I've had it happen in the past and it's just not a fun time to have to deal with when you have to go in there and try to like unseize coilovers. It's not enjoyable. So at minimum, just clean them, put some anti-seize on there just so that way they're still free moving whenever you need to go in there and adjust them. Where did I just go? Are there aftermarket rods that are proper for the FAs? Unfortunately, none that I have seen. I'm pretty sure they're all offset like that just because of the block design and the crank design. I like your channel. Keep it up. I have an 07 Forester XT Sports 2.5 liter. Is it worth it converting from automatic transmission to manual? If you want to, you definitely can. Just know it's a lot more work than what it seems. You have to swap out a lot of suspension components also just to make that work. AstroTurf, pizza, Chinese, Mexican, or breakfast food. 100% Mexican food. 100%. My dad's side of the family is Mexican, so I have a like weird love for any type of Mexican food. But breakfast comes in at a close second. My favorite Rallycross upgrade was White Line anti-lift kit. Huge difference and a lot less understeer. I've seen the anti-lift kits. I can't say I've ever actually installed one. I might end up doing one on the 05 STI in the future based off of like some recommendations that you guys have thrown out there for those also. What do you think is more reliable, the FA20 17 Plus or the EJ STI 17 Plus? The EJ STI, since it has the revised short block, is going to be 2019 Plus. Honestly, it's a toss-up. Depends on the driver, the modifications. The modifications that they're doing and what they're using the car for. So, I mean, it's a toss-up, to be honest. All depends on a lot of variables. Doug Dirty Imp Doug Dirty Imp. Smedia, new viewer, have you ever rallycrossed? Hey, appreciate the support, man. Have I ever rallycrossed? I cannot say I've had. That is an expensive... Rallycross is an expensive hobby. I've done a lot of autocross. I've done minimal time attack. I've done like a little bit of like drifting for funsies, but I can't say I've ever done rallycross. Rallycross would be a fun one to do, though. Looking to go IAG, AOS, and Killer Bee Holy Headers, equal length, grim speed, flex up pipe, HKS catback, Cobb SF intake, and box. Accessport on just stuck on downpipe, new Cobb NVIDIA. Wait, hold up. I lost myself when reading that. Looking to go IAG, AOS, then Killer Bee Holy Header, equal length, grim speed, flex up. So grim speed up pipe, HKS catback. Will that setup get me 350 wheel horsepower? No. You will need a turbo to be able to hit 350 wheel horsepower. That should get you up there, but you're going to have to at least swap out that turbo for like an FP Blue or a Cobb 20G, something along those lines. Plumber WX, appreciate the dono, dude. Perry the Pear. We're sticking with Perry the Pear now. From now on, he's Perry the Pear. Is there a fix for the connecting rods, and what are some of the other major issues for the FA20? There's not, I mean, if you want to fix the connecting rods, I mean, obviously pull apart the block, put some stronger connecting rods in there, but the connecting rods aren't really a huge issue unless you're really trying to turn up the boost or you're really beating on the car. That's when they become an issue. What are some other major issues for the FA20? There's not a lot of them. I mean, the FA20 is a pretty stout motor. It's pretty much just the connecting rods are the real weak point in there. IEG, AOS, street or competition. Street is going to be my suggestion only because you don't need a tune or a calibration to the ECU for that one. What type of brake rotors do you prefer? Slotted, 100%. I don't like drilled rotors. They crack over time, and it just compromises the rotor a little bit quicker than slotted rotors would. My typical go-to rotor is always like StopTech slotted ones. They last quite a while. They look good, and they are also affordable. Hey, bro. FP diff actual drop as I go into the boost. Fuel pressure dip. Fuel pressure diff. Am I reading that right? FP diff actual drop as I go into boost on my Jeez, I cannot read right now. Actual drop as I go in the boost. My fuel set is ID 1700 AEM FP Automotive regular fuel rails. You know what caused that. So you're having a dip in fuel pressure, I'm guessing. Could be a vacuum reference issue. I would check your vacuum reference to make sure it's still on par and on point. That would be the first thing that comes to mind. If not, it could be a tune issue as well. Antonio, hey, I know you've been busy, but on Instagram I sent you a message about build questions, and it's been days. Antonio, throw out your IG name right now, and I will write it down, and I will find it. I will find it. It all gets lost. I'm sorry, it all gets lost so quick. Appreciate the dono also, my man. Happy New Year. Thank you for helping with the questions and saw that same video on the Hawkeye 6-cylinder last night. Your car will sound amazing. That's what I'm saying. What is your philosophy on 1100 horsepower? I mean, honestly, the only thing you can really do with 1100 horsepower is just go really fast in a straight line. Ours is going to be set up in multiple different tune iterations where it's going to have like a 600 horsepower, 800 horsepower, and then like full chooch, 1000 to 1100 wheel horsepower tune. So that way, if we would just want to like daily drive the car for funsies, we can put it on like the 600 wheel horsepower tune and drive it around like that. But I mean, at 1100 horsepower, to be honest, the only thing that we can actually do is go really fast in a straight line, to be completely honest. Suba Cruz. Got you, dude. Right after this live stream. I'll check it. Appreciate the dono, too, dude, man. Absolutely killing it, you guys. Smelling fuel through my heater. What could it be? 05 Forester XT. If you're smelling fuel through your heater, the only thing that I would think of is maybe you have an old crusty fuel line underneath the intake manifold. And if that's the case, then it could just be leaking down a little bit of fuel. You could just be getting like a whiff of it every time that it like leaks down a little bit. Check fuel lines. That would be my first go-to. Check fuel lines and then check the actual fuel injectors just to make sure that those O-rings are not leaking anymore. Moved up here to Washington from SoCal. Welcome. Love me some Mexican food, and the only places up here that have anything close to SoCal food is all taco trucks. Dude, the taco trucks up here are awesome. If you have one, if anyone has one, I don't know if this is like across the country thing or if it's just Northwest thing. Memos, oh, like really good fast food Mexican foods, like actual like The carne asada fries. Oh, I've overeaten those so many times. Oh my god, yo, I made it. What's going on, Roy? What up, dude? So I don't need the low pressure fuel pump for the daily unless I go over like 340 horsepower. No, if you try to get to like 300 horsepower, you're going to need that low pressure fuel pump. Is it better to wait out the warranty on the STI before doing performance mods, or do I void it earlier to do things such as AOS and other reliability mods so I can eventually mod it? Thanks. Totally up to you. If you feel comfortable and confident... Eric, 69 people watching. Nice. If you feel confident and comfortable in going in there and modifying the car, if something were to happen and for some reason they denied your warranty claim, would you feel comfortable going in there, having the knowledge to be able to fix whatever the problem might be? I have an entire video dedicated on should you void your warranty or not. That's not really a question that I can say you should or shouldn't do. If it were me, I would modify it. I void all my warranties almost immediately, but I'm also very comfortable going into a Subaru's engine bay and tearing it apart and figuring out what the problem is. So that is entirely up to you if you feel comfortable jumping in there or not. Where would you recommend to get a sway bar from? Rally Sport Direct stocks them. The Mod Garage stocks them. A lot of other people probably stock them. Those are just the first two that come to mind. I have an anti-lift kit. Per the shop, it can be a real pain or not at the knuckle. Was quoted 2 to 6 hours at a Super Subi shop. No torch. Ooh. We'll do it in the garage. We'll figure it out. I always do stuff in the garage. We'll always figure it out. Even if I don't know how to do it, we'll figure it out. Ever tried Tortas? Those are so good. I cannot say I have. I will have to try those. Favorite e-tuner? Currently, I've only ever had one e-tune before, and that was the BRZ, and that was Bill on a Delicious Tuning, so I'm a little bit biased and not going to say Delicious Tuning, only because he's the only one I've ever had do an e-tune for me. Off-road loose surface racing is so much more fun to drive, in my opinion. It's expensive. That's an expensive one, though. That's an expensive hobby. Happy New Year, man. Ended up going upstate for New Year's. Hey, sounds like you got a fun time, dude. Sounds like you got a good New Year's going on. Just got a new 2020 and love your videos and insights. Thanks for making these. Also, I already have a Cobb Stage 2 full package. J-pipe, big SF intake, catback, Accessport. Nice. Congrats on the car, dude. Glad the videos are helping. What's up, man? What's up, Starling? What's going on, dude? I know you are not a fan of the OTS from Cobb. Do I get a Pro or E-Tune? I'm okay with, or am I okay with the OTS? With what you have, you're totally fine with just an OTS tune. If you really want to get things more dialed in, an E-tune is a very good way to go. FA issues, carbon buildup. I don't really consider carbon buildup an issue, though. That's more of like a maintenance item, but yes, every 30,000 miles with carbon buildup, you do need to at least walnut blast or slow induction service the valves, just to get all that carbon buildup off of there. Sergio, Happy New Year, Tanner. All the best next year. Hey, appreciate it, dude. Happy New Year. Sorry, favorite e-tuner for FA20. Does the BRZ count as an FA20 DIT? Because that was technically an FA20 DIT. I'm sticking with Bill Delicious Tuning with that one. Can I get the rim size for 15 STI with FA? Can I get the rim size for 15? I don't understand the question. Can I get a rim size of 15? You can get... I don't understand the question. This guy's serious about his IG question. It's a build list. It's a good build list. We got lots of stuff to do. Any downsides to non-AVCS JDM turbo motors? No, not necessarily. I've seen people delete AVCS on the USDA motors also. It's just one less system that has potential to create issues. I don't see any like huge issues with not having AVCS or buying a non-AVCS motor. I mean, people delete them on current motors also. Any plans for a NorCal meetup? The day when we have a running car, one day we will make a trip. Melanie and I will do like a trip down to like California or probably something like that. It would be cool. I haven't been to California in a long time. Actually, last time I went into California, they took my bananas. Apparently, you can't bring fruit into California. They took my bananas. I don't know. We'll see. So at some point in the future, Melanie and I will get out, do like a... I'd like to go to California again at some point, just to meet up with some people, hang out for a while, do like probably a West Coast thing, like Washington, Oregon, California a little bit. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool. +1. Hey. Have you ever had your wisdom teeth pulled? I had mine taken out on Monday and I'm still extremely sore. Just curious. I have. I cheated the system when I had my wisdom teeth pulled. I had them take one side first so that way I could still eat on this side. And then 2 months later I had them pull this side so that way I could eat on this side. The day I got my wisdom teeth pulled and every single day after that I was eating like Burger King, Taco Bell, ramen, you name it. I was eating it. I didn't care. No dry sockets. I bet you got good meds, probably. What's the website for the Mod Garage? I think it's www.tmg.com or themodgarage.com, I think. The Mod Garage on Google, there you go. Last question, I promise. So you said with the deletes, exhaust and radiator, you said I'll be pushing probably like 280 to 310. So if I don't hit 300 and I don't get the low pressure fuel pump right, get the low pressure fuel pump anyways. It's going to keep your fuel pump duty cycle lower than 100% or 99% because you don't want your fuel pump duty cycle to always be 99%. You ideally want it to be around 66%. But even though when you're always going to be like full chooch 100% throttle, it's going to go up to 99%. But it just helps with the gap for how much power you're making with how much fuel it can supply. Rallycross can be incredibly cheap if you have a few years ago, the stock front-wheel drive national champ was a $750 junk car. I might have to look into this a little more because that would be a fun thing to do. Definitely be a fun thing to do. Happy New Year, my boy. Wish you nothing but the best with your builds and in the upcoming years. I appreciate it, David. I'm playing with this GoPro floaty mount for some reason. It's just squishy. What do you think of the H6 swap for the GC or GD? I see a lot of people do it in the GC and GD. It's a lot easier to do it in those chassis. The only reason that it's so difficult on the 15 Plus is the CAN bus system. So essentially, what the CAN bus system does, it's the internal communication controller for the entire car. All the features in the car that control, like from the motor to like the dash, it's like the communication hub for absolutely everything. So trying to get all of that to still work, which is my goal, is going to be the difficult part. I have all the CAN bus communication wires labeled in the car. But yeah, H6 swaps in GC or GD is a lot more simple. You don't have nearly as much wiring that you're gonna have to dig through. Roy, so can you explain the CAN bus for the 15 Plus WRX STI? I have no clue what it does. Hey, I answered that with the previous question. Look at me. It's the communication hub for essentially the entire car. It ties in like the cluster, the engine readings, and it all brings it into one, and then that's where it kind of disseminates and transmits the information. It's just the communication system for the car. I'm back. My girlfriend is taking a few extra hours to come over. I guess LMAO. I totally feel it. Gotta get those eyelashes on fleek. 2013 WRX, I came across an inexpensive EJ257 short block. After taking it apart, the block seems okay. Need to get it to a shop. The internals need replacing. What's your option on a opinion on a closed deck? Closed decks are awesome. You will be able to make a lot more power more reliably with a closed deck if that is something that you're trying to do. Just keep that in mind. It's really going to depend on your power goals. If you're not looking to make huge power, if you're looking to stay under 400 wheel horsepower, you can leave it open deck. If you're shooting for 400 or above, then obviously closed deck at that point. Sorry for the caps. How dare you yell at me, Roy? How dare you? Hey, what are good rims to clear the 2019 Brembos? That's one thing Fitment Industries is good for, is I would go check out their gallery for that one. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't tried to fit any wheels over the 2019 Plus 6-pot calipers, so I'm not going to tell you wheel sizes that I don't know. That's one we talked about. One question, what's a great shift knob? Do you recommend I have the factory STI shift knob on 2020 WRX? Personal preference, I like the cob knob. The cob knob feels good in the hands. It's fun to say. People ask what that is. You tell them it's your cob knob. And I think they're like $60 too, so they're pretty affordable. If not, Billetworks is also a pretty good one. They make a lot of different shift knobs. A lot of them out there. Grimspeed has some. Reseg Racing or something like that. Recessive. I don't know. There's a lot of them out there. Where did I just leave off? I want one that feels well balanced. Cob knob. I'm sticking with cob knob on that answer. How do you become a channel member? I think it's like should say it somewhere in the bottom. Yo, let's try some Inception right now. I have no idea if this is going to work. Can we accept ourselves? There's a lot of them out there. This is some weird Inception. I think it says it like right here, right at the bottom joint. I'm gonna like my own video. I just did that.
like should say.
This is so weird. I'm in the future from what I'm saying now.
Right now, I have no idea if this is going to work. Can we accept ourselves?
This is so weird. I'm sorry. I'm getting like way off topic.
This is some weird inception. I think it says it like right here.
Oh, okay. I need to close that. I'm incepting myself too much now. Oh, small dog came in here. Hello, small dog. WX DNA exhaust. Cannot say I've ever heard of DNA exhaust before. What are some good gauges? Personal preference, I like AEM. I've always ran the AEM gauges. I have the AEM boost gauge and air fuel ratio gauge in the 2005 STI. I pulled them out of the 2017 STI. I just like AEM. They're quick reference gauges. I don't have to look at an actual gauge to try to read it when I'm driving. The AEM ones are all digital, so I can just quickly look at it. I can just quickly look at the AEM one and reference everything. Would you try an H6 swap on a 2015 Plus car for more reliable power? That's what I'm doing right now. That's what we're doing. Will removing the dust shields on the 2019 STI brakes front and rear cause any issues? Should help with heat. It should help with heat a little bit and venting on that. But for the downsides, you're going to get a lot more brake dust absolutely everywhere. LS1 does equal reliable power. Thanks for the recommendations. Anytime, Juan. When is the correct time to put an external wastegate uptight? Typically when you are swapping to a bigger turbo. Or if you want better boost control. Your tuner will also appreciate you for getting an external wastegate. I can only do the channel member thing on a computer and not mobile. Oh, good to know. If you're mobile, you have to leave the live chat and hit the join button. I didn't know that was a thing. Awesome. Thanks for the info on the closed deck. Your channel has been one of the best this year. I appreciate it, man. Happy New Year to you as well. And Eric, what did I just walk in on? I can't decide whether to buy a Blaubai or one of the newer Subarus. Is it worth the money to just buy a newer STI with far less issues or buy an older one? If you like the styling of the older one and you don't mind having to deal with the issues and spending the extra money, an older one is a really good bang for your buck. If you want one that has a lot less problems, a newer one's going to be a lot easier. It'll come with a warranty. It'll be a lot easier to own for a while. LMAO. Would gauges void your warranty? Gauges will not void your warranty. Happy New Year to you as well, my man. Avoid autometer gauges. Trust me, yes, avoid autometer. They're like down here on like the totem pole. It's the camo top you were wearing, making you in the future past. Struggling to see you the whole time. So I'm saying, I'm like blending in. Oh, forgot to mention when I get back, I'm sending you a special shirt a friend made. Hey, totally down. I wear mediums, but mediums typically fit also. Alright, you guys, so we've been going for an hour and a half. It is New Year's Eve. Melanie is getting ready. We got some stuff to go do. I will take care of the Instagram DM tonight. I appreciate all the donos. I appreciate all the support from you guys this year. It's been absolutely nuts. 2020 has been an interesting year to say the least, but 2021 will also be so much better. So I hope everyone has a happy and a safe New Year's Eve. If you're in the future, I hope you have a good New Year's Day. Normal upload schedule is going to continue every other day. So with that, thanks again for all the donos tonight, you guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the fun stuff going on, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies, and have an awesome